Live from the Forum in Inglewood, California, Dallas Mavericks basketball tonight on KTVT Channel 11, the Super One, as the Mavericks take on the best in the West. Hello again, everyone. Alan Stone along with Dave Barnett. Mavericks come in tonight trying to forget about last evening's disappointing 16-point loss at Portland. That's where we were last night. Yes, it was an early morning flight today. And, Dave, we hear a lot about the Lakers being embarrassed in Dallas 10 days ago, that they've got revenge on their minds. Quite frankly, it would be a surprise if the Lakers were not in a payback mood this evening.
Well, they wouldn't be the Lakers if they weren't in a payback mood this evening, not only because of the last game, which was a 15-point win. The game before that, also in Dallas, the Mavericks won by double digits, 130-119. The Lakers didn't have Kareem in that game, but those are the two worst defensive performances the Lakers have had all year. And no question, the Mavericks have to worry about not only a tough time as always here in the Forum, but the extra motivation that the Lakers have to have.
And exactly opposite game conditions tonight from the meeting 10 days ago. If you remember then, the Lakers were coming in. It was their 5th game in 7 days on the road. Tonight it's the Mavericks, their 4th game in 5 days in 4 different cities.
Well, the surprise there is the Mavericks looked tired last night. They looked like last night was their 4th in 5 days in 4 different cities, especially in the 4th quarter. They were close with the Blazers and then blown away in the 4th quarter. If they don't find some adrenaline tonight, very same thing could very well happen.
Mark Aguirre has had some sensational games against the Lakers, including that 35-point performance when they met 10 days ago in Dallas. Mark has been having sensational games against everyone lately, and it's hard to imagine a Maverick victory tonight without another big contribution from number 24.
Well, he really spoils us because every night lately we are seeing a true all-star in Mark Aguirre. Hard to imagine him playing any better than he is. And the good thing is he played so well against the Lakers a week ago last Saturday. The one bad game he's had against the Lakers, the Mavericks lost here by 8 points in December.
Everyone knows about the stars on the Lakers squad. Dave and I have certainly chronicled them over the years. A lot of people think that's all the Lakers are, is a starting 5. A lot of people don't have respect for their bench, but there is one player for the Lakers tonight, Dave, who won't be starting, who may make a major impact on the final outcome.
Really, their bench this year consists of 2 consistent performers, one being Kurt Rambis, who gives them the defense and rebounding, and the man you're talking about, Michael Cooper, who, as you see, tied the all-time opponent record against Dallas last time they got together with 5 3-point baskets. Just one of many things he can do to bother the Mavericks off the bench.
The final regular season meeting between the Mavericks and the Lakers, the winner takes the season series. It's Dallas and Los Angeles coming up next on KTVT Channel 11, the Super Ones. Mavericks come into a very difficult building for them to win in, at least in meaningful ball games, Dave. Mavericks have won 4 games here in franchise history, but none in the last couple of years, excepting a season closing game here last year in which the Lakers did not play Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, or Kurt Rambis. And as as Ray and Norm were talking about, this really is that one more step they got to climb if they're ever going to reach an elite team situation. They're going to have to beat a really good team on the road, as you see one of the officials tonight, Billy Oakes.
Well, that's where the opportunity part comes in. It's not a requirement because they're still going to have first place in the Midwest Division, but they can really, I mean, we talked about a message game in Dallas a week ago Saturday. What a huge message this would be to win the season series 3-2 and finish it off in this building.
Jabbar turns inside against James Donaldson and starts tonight scoring. Kareem picked last week to appear in his 16th All-Star game. 3 Lakers on the Western Conference All-Stars, and they'll be joined by Mark Aguirre and Rolando Blackman in Seattle Sunday afternoon. Here's Ro Blackman looking at a double team. Blackman, who was red hot last night on 13 of 16 shooting, connects on his first field goal attempt this evening.
Last 2 games against the Lakers plus that shot. He is 23 of his last 30 from the field. He didn't have a good start in this series, and now they can't do anything to stop Blackman.
Worthy gets free into the lane, and the Mavericks are forced to foul him. And that one will go on Sam Perkins, his and the team's first. You know, back to this situation, Dave, of trying to beat the best teams in an adverse situation. Of course, as we chronicled earlier this month, Dallas has never won at the Boston Garden, never won at the Spectrum. They've won only 2 road playoff games in franchise history, so that really is one hurdle that they have yet to clear.
Last year in the playoffs, a couple of good chances. They were not in the game, the first game of the best of 7 here. The last 2 here, very much for grabs until the Lakers pulled it off at the end.
As you see, Mark Aguirre losing AC Green down low, and a nice bounce pass by Rolando Blackman, and the Mavericks are in the lead and will stay that way with Byron Scott missing the driving layup. And Derek Harper jogs into the front court. Here's Blackman with that heavily wrapped left thigh, and Rolando Blackman picks up right where he left off last night. Of course, Dave, he hit on his first 9 attempts from the field last evening.
Trouble is, he and Aguirre didn't get any help. They combined for 69.
Donaldson pulls down the Byron Scott miss, and the Mavericks again look to up-tempo it. Aguirre for 3. Short, but Perkins will keep it alive for the Mavericks, who lead the NBA in makes from three-point distance. The Lakers are the most accurate three-point shooting team in the league. And here's Harper from downtown. And A.C. Green pulls it off the floor for the Lakers, and here comes Magic to Worthy behind the defense.
Last night, out of a lot of things that the Maverick coaches were upset about, probably number one on their list, the fact that the Blazers ran 24 fast breaks and were successful on 21.
The Mavericks go low to James Donaldson. And, of course, the running game is Laker basketball. Here's Aguirre using the glass. Kareem pulls it down to Magic, and here comes another Laker fast break to Byron Scott, to A.C. Green. Well, that's 2 for 2 in fast break opportunities tonight for the Lakers.
What a neat little pass by Byron Scott to finish that one off to A.C. Green. Broke out of the slump with 9 of 11 shooting the other night against Phoenix. 25 points, 1 under his season high. It was 39% his previous 7 games. They are starting to look for some scoring from A.C. Green.
Here's Sam Perkins. Mavericks outside shots are not dropping, and that sets up running opportunities for the Lakers. Scott from the right wing. Lakers are on fire, and you can tell from the crowd response. This is usually a very quiet building early, that the Laker fans are into this one.
It is a sellout. If you look and see the empty seats, that is only par for the course.
We are in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it is, as always, a casually late arriving crowd, so they'll probably be here by, I would think, the third quarter.
Donaldson muscles in on Jabbar, who puts the muscle back, and eventually Sam Perkins picks it up and rattles it home. And it's a 1-point game. A.C. Green. And the foul is going to be called inside on Sam Perkins. Have we mentioned Earl Strom is officiating tonight's game along with Billy Oakes, and he made that call against Perkins, Sam's second.
Perkins, who fouled out last night and really appeared to be the guy that the officials kept after it was Steve Johnson of Portland early on who got in foul trouble. By the end of the thing, Aguirre and Perkins had fouled out and several other players in trouble, and it really hampered whatever comeback hopes the Mavericks were going to have in the second half of that game.
Sam ending up with 13 points and only 4 rebounds last night, and he's in a bit of foul difficulty early this evening. Aguirre around Jabbar, and Mark up to 4, the 7th best scorer in the NBA at a little over 25.5 a contest. A.C. Green, who is covered by Aguirre, who sags off of him. And here's Scott.
There is only one Laker. They'll give the outside shot, and that's Green.
Again, Jabbar goes in with the left hand, misses this one. Ball is knocked out of bounds, but will remain in the possession of the Lakers, and Dallas will make its first substitution 4 minutes and 17 seconds into the first quarter as Sam Perkins forced to leave with the 2 personals, and Roy Tarpley, who has really been giving the Mavericks great production off the bench.
Last night, he was one of the guys hampered by early foul trouble. He only got 17 minutes, still managed 5 boards and 3 block shots along with 9 points. So a major contributor off the bench the last couple of weeks.
Mark Aguirre reaching in, trying to give James Donaldson some help on the double team against Jabbar. And Mark gets called for his first. And Dave, with Roy Tarpley on the floor, the Mavericks have also made a defensive switch, and Aguirre now has to tangle with James Worthy.
Normally that is, of course, Perkins' man, and they're going to keep Tarpley, hopefully, out of foul trouble by having him track A.C. Green. The other end of the floor, you may have noticed already, the usual matchups that the Lakers have gone with lately in this series. That means Worthy guards the Mavericks shooting guard, Rolando Blackman, and Magic Johnson was on Sam Perkins. We'll see if they change that this time down.
Dick Motta looks on for the Mavericks bench. Dallas down by 3 in the early going, and Aguirre. Derek Harper. Byron Scott and Kareem lose the handle on it. Tarpley picks it up. Foul was called before the basket by Donaldson. And that'll go against A.C. Green. And the first team foul called against the Lakers in this quarter. Dwyer. Harper, two-man game, but Byron Scott steps in front of the pass. Will take it all the way against Roe Blackman. Dave, Mavericks really didn't do a good job of disguising what they were trying to do with the ball, and Byron Scott just stepped in front of a very easily telegraphed pass. Here's Dwyer working inside again, and Donaldson on the offensive glass.
Might have been on that previous possession the fact that they haven't seen that many double teams lately against Dwyer. And an unusual situation. Anytime Harper turns it over, he's one of 10 players with more steals than turnovers in the NBA. And I think you're right. Scott knew exactly where that one was going to end up.
Jabbar again with the left hand, so the Mavericks accomplishing part of what they want to. They're denying Kareem the skyhook, but he's very effective with the left hand, and he has 6. Here's Harper on a coast-to-coast possession, and Dwyer on the offensive glass, and Mark also has a half dozen.
Mavericks starting to get a little inside presence after not a whole lot in the first 2 or 3 minutes of the game. And a Laker timeout.
With 6:05 still to go in the initial quarter, Magic and the Lakers have jumped out to a 3-point lead over the Mavericks.
To a Mavericks game, a Mavericks t-shirt, and have your picture taken with your favorite player when you register to be a Joskies mascot. Stop by any Joskies team shop and fill out a registration form.
And ladies, be sure to be in attendance on Valentine's Day, February 14th, when the Mavericks take on the LA Clippers. That is Royal Optical Sweetheart Night, and you will have a chance to win a fur coat. In honor of St. Valentine's Day, the first 5,000 women will also receive a carnation from Royal Optical. Dave, Mavericks tonight, this is the third of 5 straight games against teams with winning records. So a tough stretch for the Mavericks, who go home to play Seattle on Wednesday. And then Portland comes in, the first game after the All-Star break.
It's been one of the tougher months that the Mavericks have faced. People like Denver and Milwaukee, difficult to win as big as they did last week.
Magic Johnson tipping in the missed shot by A.C. Green. Magic's first points of the game. And now all the starters, sans Derek Harper, have points.
Pretty well publicized this year. Magic is shooting much more than usual, about 40% more than his career average. And on the other hand, Kareem about 40% less than his career average.
Magic covering Roy Tarpley, who shoots over him and scores. Here's Worthy at the other end. And Derek Harper takes in the long rebound, loses the handle on the ball, and they'll say he traveled. And Derek, of course, does have more steals than turnovers, Dave, but the last 5 games, he's reversed that trend with only 5 takeaways and 9 turnovers, and 2 here in the first quarter tonight.
It's not been a usual Harper start. The Mavericks have had one constant when they've beaten the Lakers. They've had huge games from Derek Harper.
Byron Scott, say it was a 2-point attempt. Ball comes out long, and Magic able to chase it down. Kareem again draws the double team.
And the best rotation the Mavericks have had defensively all night. Still can't get the ball free, though.
Knock it back out to Byron Scott. Third best 3-point shooter in the league. Here's Worthy from about 17. And finally, Roy Tarpley chases it down in the corner, and the Mavericks look to get to within 1.
And lucky they got it that time. A.C. Green had rebounding position on Tarpley. But I think they finally found a little defensive rhythm, because Kareem didn't have anywhere to shoot and not that great a place to pass, and they gave Worthy a shot they'll give him all night.
Tarpley works this time against A.C. Green, follows his own miss in and reverses. And the rookie continues to look like a very confident player. And now Tarpley and Byron Scott getting into a fight as the Lakers come across the 10-second line. And official Billy Oates will have to go to the scorer's table and make some kind of a decision, but that looked like it was on the verge of really getting nasty.
And it's not like Tarpley needs to draw a bigger target on his back. We're going to see what precipitated it. And it started his elbows and got a little bit worse.
And a double technical has been called on both Byron Scott and Roy Tarpley, which is frankly no call at all, because no free throws are shot. The ball remains in the hands of the Lakers. So the officials decide that whatever happened really wasn't worth taking any specific punitive action against. Here's A.C. Green. Jabbar with the offensive board, but he travels with the ball. Kareem has been boarding better of late, averaging 10 over the last 3 games.
Again, improved Dallas defense. It looked early in the possession like Worthy had his favorite spot open, driving the baseline, then cut off by Aguirre, and they wheel it around, and again, with the defensive effort, give themselves a chance to lead again.
Mavericks and Golden State have handed the Lakers 4 of their 10 losses this year. Here's Aguirre. Inside and marked up to 8, and Dallas with its first lead. Under 3:30 to go in the period. Magic on a one-player possession answers. Magic, the 10th best scorer in the NBA at a little over 24 a game.
One of his best buddies, Mark Aguirre, recently over 10,000 career points. Magic needs 32 to get 10,000.
Mavericks will call a time with still 3:15 to go in the period. Mark Aguirre has 8 in the quarter, and Dallas has its first advantage of the evening.
Last night, and they did. Portland is 20-4 at home now. Mavericks have played well at home, but nobody better than the Lakers. The only team to win here early in the season, Atlanta, and recently the Lakers avenged that with a win in the Omni.
Mavericks back on the attack. Lakers have made a couple of changes during the timeout. Earl Strom calls a foul low against the Lakers, and this should result in the first free throws of the night for the Dallas Mavericks. That one is on Magic Johnson. Lakers had shot 6 free throws before the Mavericks get to the stripe in the person of Roy Tarpley. Kurt Rambis is in for A.C. Green, and Michael Cooper is on for the Lakers in place of Byron Scott.
Meaning the Maverick defense is going to be spread out a little bit because of the three-point capabilities of not only Cooper, who we talked about early, but Byron Scott, who was 3rd behind Detlef Schrempf and Kiki Vandeweghe.
Here's Cooper. Blackman respecting the three-point shot, but not respecting it enough. And Cooper sets himself and connects. Michael Cooper has made more three-pointers than anybody in the NBA.
That's his 55th, and he shoots 42%. Lately, he's had better luck from three-point range than from two-point range.
And again, Aguirre is able to snake in and get a layup. So Mark not having to go outside to go into double figures. And here's Rambis the trailer.
Exactly what the Maverick coaches fear most about Kareem. They figure you're going to allow him 30 points just because he's that kind of offensive player, but they fear his passing more because he finds the open man for easy baskets so well.
Blackman takes a pop to the chin. Michael Cooper is also hurt. Rowe will go to the free throw line, but he is hurt. I don't think seriously, but very painfully at this point. It looked like a couple of very sharp elbows were exchanged. As Cooper coming over to pick up Blackman after Worthy gambled for the steal.
Every part of Michael Cooper's body is sharp.
Yeah, as slender as he is, there's going to be a 20-second timeout call by the Lakers, as their trainer will look at Michael Cooper and Doug Atkins and Roe Blackman. And we'll go down and take another look at the last Laker possession and the fine passing of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Nobody picked up Kurt Rambis.
The double team as usual on Kareem, but in fact, not even our camera for a moment able to find Rambis. You just don't expect him to be much of an offensive force. A better look there. By the time Aguirre got there, he wasn't going to be set in time to draw a charge foul. So Rambis on the other end of yet another excellent Kareem Abdul-Jabbar pass, and the Mavericks going to the bench to rest Rolando Blackman.
Well, the ruling is that Rowe was not in the act of shooting. The foul came before that, so no free throws. So the Mavericks can get Blackman out of the game, and they do so and insert Detlef Schrempf. Here's Aguirre bouncing off of Rambis. Donaldson picks up the offensive board and puts it home with authority. And the Mavericks back to within 1. Magic up top. Boy, they're getting the ball into Jabbar a lot this quarter, and Kareem goes to work again, but Tarpley comes over to block the shot. And Cooper steals it from Aguirre.
Well, too bad, because you can't play better defense against Abdul-Jabbar.
Boy, Tarpley making another contribution. 3 blocks last night. He also is the second high Maverick scorer with 5, and he didn't start. Illegal defense going to be called against the Mavericks.
They get a wire, I think, for 3 seconds in the lane defensively.
So now the Mavericks have been warned as Dick Mott and Richie Adubato try to figure out how they can disguise that defensive alignment a little bit better. Magic posting up against Derek Harper.
It's tough for 2 Mavericks because Harper gives up 5 inches to Johnson, and Shrimp wants to help out, but he can't leave Michael Cooper. That spot on the floor, almost an automatic 3 for Cooper.
Well, there's just not a point guard in the league that Magic can't post up and have the size advantage. Donaldson down low, fumbles the ball. Mavericks start it over again. And we'll go under a minute in the period on this possession. James has had some problems of late, taking the passes in the low post.
Something he's improved on this year as well. Hasn't been nearly as turnover prone or dropped as many passes as last year. One thing the Maverick coaches want to see more of is rebounding. Only 1 double-double game in the last 5 for James.
Lakers with a very clean period, only 1 miscue, and Kareem that time gets off the skyhook. Kareem, the 3rd most accurate shooter in the league, right behind James Donaldson. They both trail Charles Barkley. Mavericks with about a 15-second differential between the game and shot clock. A strip inside, contact is made. And Detlef will go to the stripe. Mike Smrek comes on for Jabbar, and by getting Mike Smrek in here with 21 seconds to go, they get a little extra added rest for the man they referred to as the captain. That last foul is on James Worthy.
And as Smrek comes in, you saw Bill Wennington replace James Donaldson for the Mavericks. Dallas really, Alan, has survived a relatively sloppy first quarter. They haven't had near the execution that they had a week ago Saturday, and with the free throw by Shrimp within 2, not bad positioning at all after 1 quarter.
Well, you've got to appreciate Roy Tarpley coming in early when Sam Perkins got into foul difficulty. 5 points, a couple of rebounds, and a block shot. He continues to play like anything but a rookie. And it's a 1-point game as the Lakers will most likely play for the final shot of the quarter. Here's Cooper. Magic just does a little bit of everything. And with 2 seconds to go, Tarpley will hook it from behind midcourt over the top of the backboard, and the first quarter comes to an end. On Magic Johnson's short jumper, he has 8. And Pat Riley's Lakers with a 3-point lead over the Mavericks. Back at the Forum in Inglewood, California. Certainly the 2 highest scoring teams in the NBA. Lakers are first just about every offensive category, Dave.
That's impressive. More impressive, the fact that they have the biggest average margin per game. They beat their opponents by about 10 points per game, compared with the Mavericks 6 per game.
Mavericks turn it over as Brad Davis is checked in for Derek Harper. Lakers are the most accurate shooting team in the league. Michael Cooper goes downtown, but Roy Tarpley pulls down the rebound.
Mavericks survived their 5th turnover. The Lakers forced to commit only 1 in the first period. The way Dallas has stayed close is on the boards. 15-8, the rebound advantage now.
And here's an illegal defense call against Kurt Rambis. Donaldson with 5 of those rebounds. Mavericks get Sam Perkins back in for Mark Aguirre as Pat Riley contemplates the whys and wherefores of the illegal D. They're going to call traveling on Sam Perkins as he tried to work against his former North Carolina teammate James Worthy. And Dallas continues to shoot themselves in the foot with the turnovers. Worthy with a great lob pass from Magic. How in the world is he able to get the ball in between 2 green jerseys like that?
Well, there it looked like only Worthy knew the ball was coming. Perkins has his back turned, and as soon as Worthy goes up, it's just too late. So Tarpley comes over to help out, and unfortunately, the victim of the foul call.
Held your breath for a minute, afraid they might call it on Perkins, which would have been his 3rd. Worthy's only 1 of 3 from the line, a 77% foul shooter. who has not been scoring well of late, Dave, averaging only 14 points and shooting at about 44% for the last 3, as you see Magic subbed out of the game.
Even affecting his free throwing. And the Lakers, with their new look backcourt, Byron Scott, as you see, on Brad Davis, and Michael Cooper continues to keep up with Detlef Schrempf.
And Schrempf will now try to post Cooper. Does so. Rattles in the jumper. Byron Scott inside. And they'll rule the Mavericks time out. Probably Bill Winnington will jump with Byron Scott at the Mavericks foul line. So Winnington, who got quite a bit of playing time in the fourth quarter last night in Portland, gets an early call again this evening. Lakers control the tip despite the rather sizable height advantage of Winnington, and Byron Scott makes it pay off big time with a three-pointer. Scott third in the NBA in three-point shooting behind Detlef Schrempf and Kiki Vandeweghe. Perkins, air ball, saved by Smrek to Winnington.
Not only are the Mavericks playing well below peak efficiency offensively, they're a little bit lucky because they had 3 or 4 garbage baskets now on rebounds the Lakers simply gave to them underneath.
Perkins outlets to Schrempf. Mavericks will go to the set look.
The point being, Dallas has a lot to be optimistic about because they haven't come even close to playing as well as they can on offense. They have a chance to tie the game.
Winnington will go to the foul line after being fouled by Mike Smrek. And with Smrek in the ball game, might be a good point for us to pass along some real speculation here in Los Angeles, Dave, about a possible trade that would really help the Lakers inside game.
Well, you wonder about anything that is printed as rumor, and this was labeled rumor, but there is talk that San Antonio might be willing to depart with Michael Thompson. The Lakers, of course, in the market for big men because they don't have really anybody at all who would take over for Kareem if he goes ahead and retires at the end of next year. So there would be obvious interest on the part of the Lakers if they can pry Michael Thompson loose. The thing you wonder about there is the Spurs are so hot they've won 5 straight with Thompson.
Byron Scott. Loose ball foul is going to be called on Worthy. Mavericks within a point and a chance to take the lead back. What would you figure in the short run if they could get Michael Thompson, who could back up Kareem and also spell A.C. Green at the big forward spot? It would be very hard to see them not being in the finals this year. Brad Davis, they'll say, stepped out of bounds.
We're going to see Davis right there on the sideline.
Boy, good eyes by official Billy Oakes.
At this point, the Lakers just playing almost perfect basketball in terms of protecting it themselves. Back to their backup center situation. Mike Smrek, a journeyman. Frank Brickowski played overseas for 3 years. Not to denigrate those guys, but anything would be an improvement.
I think you denigrated them pretty well.
They play hard, but they're not fooling anybody by thinking that they are going to be the guys who replace Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and it's hard to imagine the Lakers drafting that replacement.
Brad Davis finds some space and floats down the fade. On the other hand, I'm not even sure what denigrating means.
Well, I think I just did it.
Yeah. Mavericks lead by 1 with 8:40 to go in the half. Here's Smrek. Turns on Winnington.
That was an automatic.
Didn't denigrate himself that time as Mike Smrek gives the Lakers a 1-point advantage. 6th lead change of the contest so far. Schrempf loses it to Rambis, and the Mavericks continue with a high number of turnovers. Scott misses. Schrempf try to up-tempo the game for the Mavericks, and all the way goes Detlef. Tarpley underneath is fouled. And hustled underneath by Tarpley will send the Mavericks back to the line, and both starting centers come back. Jabbar for Smrek, and James Donaldson returns for the Mavericks to replace Bill Winnington.
Meantime, the athletic ability, the bonus really that you get from somebody as big as Detlef Schrempf, the ability to run his own fast break after coming up with the rebound. As you look at Kareem, also back in A.C. Green, and Schrempf trying to power it all the way in on the fast break that time rather than risk another turnover on a pass. The Mavericks with a chance to get the 2 points anyway, and they do.
And Roy Tarpley now up to 7. You mentioned the Dallas rebounding advantage a few moments ago. That really hasn't hurt the Lakers. They've been outboarded in 6 of their last 7 games, and yet come in tonight having won 8 of their last 10.
But it's been so key for Dallas tonight because the Lakers had second chance baskets in addition to the Mavericks offensive sloppiness. Might be a repeat of Portland last night.
We continue to seesaw back and forth. Byron Scott now with 9. Davis on the right side again will penetrate. Byron Scott flips it to Cooper. Transition situation for the Lakers and worthy to finish.
It's really amazing they haven't done that more. As many chances as they have been given by Maverick turnovers. And that's only about the second or third real showtime basket they've had.
Donaldson up very high, drawing Kareem outside. And the Mavericks do try to go low without the big guy there, and the Lakers knock the ball out of bounds. And a timeout is going to be called with just under 7 minutes to go in the first half. And the Lakers in transition a moment ago has helped them build up a very slight advantage, which is now 3 over the Mavericks.
Ray Gaskin at Mavericks home court. Another NBA action tonight. The New York Knicks were in Washington to play the Bullets. Let's check that action for you. Jay Vincent, the former Dallas Maverick, had a solid night, scored 19 points. He's starting to come on after missing the early part of the season with an injury. Tight game down the stretch with 17 seconds left. Moses Malone of the Bullets shoots. He gets the follow-up, and it's down the hatch. Washington goes on to beat the New York Knicks tonight. Your final 104-98. And so far, Mavericks hanging in there with the Lakers. Let's go back to the Forum and more of the ballgame.
Okay, Ray, thank you very much. And, of course, the Mavericks certainly know what it's like to see Moses Malone hit a jump shot down the stretch. He did that Tuesday night to give the Bullets the win over the Mavericks. And, Dave, sometimes it really is nice to know where your teammates are. You don't have to look at them sometimes.
Talk about court vision and chemistry and all those things that you hear about, and sometimes it's hard to describe. That's as good a description as you'll ever get of the chemistry between Byron Scott and Michael Cooper. No-look touch pass. The key to the fast break, Scott to Cooper.
Mavericks with only 5 seconds to get off a shot. They've got Aguirre back in. He will beat the 24-second buzzer. And the Mavericks turn it over as they did not draw either the backboard or the rim on Aguirre's shot. So the Lakers will be forced to inbound it. You saw the huge Maverick advantage on the boards. That has helped offset the fact that Dallas has turned it over 7 times to only 1 for the Lakers. Jabbar going way back outside and then taking right back from Byron Scott.
Scott is indecisive as you'll ever see him, and they force the traveler.
Nice work by James Donaldson to get some body on Jabbar. How often do you see Kareem called for a travel on a skyhook?
Not very often. Not as often as he misses the skyhook.
He did both that time. Blackman works against Cooper, now double-teamed as Byron Scott comes over, and it's all to no avail as Rose up to 6. And Mavericks are back to within 1.
Tough shot, Allen. And when Blackman's on like this, 13 for 16 last night, he made a few of those. Doesn't matter how many hands are in his face.
Here's Jabbar going into the paint. Downing the skyhook this time. Boy, more confidence being shown in Roy Tarpley. As when Mark Aguirre came into the game during that timeout, he came back in for Perkins. So Tarpley stays on. Here's Aguirre. Off the glass and 12 for Mark.
Difference tonight, Aguirre off to a good start, but he's got some help. Balanced production behind him from people like Blackman and Tarpley. And even Schrempf off the bench.
Just like every game between these two this season. Not much to choose from early as AC Green makes it a 3-point Laker lead. The 2 games LA has won have been by 4 and 8 points. The 8-point victory, the only prior meeting out here. Here's Tarpley. Roy Tarpley with 9 now. Averaging 10 rebounds off the bench his last 7 appearances. Just about that many points. Roll Blackman with the board. The
way Tarpley started to get more playing time was to pass up shots like that. luckily for him, they're going in now.
Harper was given the 3, decided not to take it. Here's Aguirre again. A.C. Green with good position. And here's Magic. Oh. Just rattled through the defense. Put a couple of nice fakes on and forces Roy Tarpley to commit the foul. Boy, how would you like to beat Tarpley as a rookie? Watching Magic just steaming 3/4 the distance down the court right at you.
Power forward body coming at you. 6'9", 225. The fake towards Scott. And a good foul by Tarpley, and it is enforced by the fact that the best they can get is 1 free throw.
Magic, who got into the top 10 in free throws last year, not there this year at 86%. Leading the league in assists again, so what else is new? He has claimed that title 3 times. But into the top 10 in scoring for the first time. Aguirre. He's got 14, and Mark appears to be on his way to another big scoring game. He's been averaging just under 31 the last half dozen Maverick games. Jabbar goes into double figures. Boy, Dave, it's just back and forth. This is about as even a first half as you'd ever want to see.
I continue to be amazed because the team playing the best offense is the Lakers, and with nothing really to show for it, with only a 2-point lead.
Blackman misses. And again, Magic looks for the fast break, but Dallas is back. Here's Scott for 3. Lakers are playing Magic inside in this alignment as he's covering Tarpley. And Derek Harper finds a hole in the first points of the night for the Mavericks starting point guard.
And the first flash of what Derek Harper has done to the Lakers going back to the playoff series last year. This year, more of the same. He's averaged about 19 points and 11 assists.
David, again, Magic is playing at a forward spot, low in the post, as the Laker guards in this alignment are Cooper and Scott. Magic misses the shot, but is fouled. Will send Green to the line.
Donaldson picks up the foul. To carry that earlier speculation just 1 point further about where the Lakers can find an eventual successor to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They have seen, as has the rest of the NBA this year, what James Donaldson has done, coming on and even getting all-star mention for Dallas. He is a free agent, and negotiations continue, and if they come to the end of the year and Donaldson has played out his contract and will solicit free agent offers, if it comes to that, don't be surprised at all if the Lakers make an offer.
Well, the Lakers have certainly shown that they're willing to spend a lot of money, and you just know they're not going to let Kareem Abdul-Jabbar without anyone retire, at least without anyone in the wing. Mavericks call a time with 2:59 to go before the intermission. And Mr. Jabbar, who turns 40 in April, connecting here as it's the Lakers by 2. Sterling's favorite player voting. Stop by any Sterling's jewelry location and cast your vote. You and your favorite player could win a $1,500 gift certificate from Sterling's. We speculated a moment ago on the possibility of a Michael Thompson trade from San Antonio to L.A. That's not the only trade talk we've heard on this West Coast swing.
Also interesting as far as the Mavericks are concerned, because they're locked in this battle with Utah in the Midwest Division. The same published report has Darrell Griffith drawing a lot of interest from the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Wire picks up the miss by Blackman and uses the glass to bank in his 16th point of the first half. And Mark Aguirre, who has shot at just under 60% from the field over the Mavericks' last 6 games, on fire again tonight. Jabbar hooks from the lane. Kareem now up to a dozen.
Darrell Griffith in Utah may be viewed as expendable because they drafted Del Curry, another fine shooting guard this year.
Well, I would really be surprised to see Darrell Griffith go. Well, with Danley departing last year and then really not getting that much firepower back. Jabbar rebounds the Mavericks miss here. Dallas gets a hand on him, but it still belongs to the Lakers.
Mavericks would love to see Dell rip it gone.
I think so.
Because he beat him. He's beaten him several times in this year with the three-pointer at the buzzer. Pulled out that game where they trailed by 7 with 24 seconds to play.
Well, if the Jazz ship off Darrell Griffith, it really does speak well of the potential of Del Curry. Donaldson stays after it and comes down with the rebound. And again, the Mavericks looking to tie the ball game with under 2 minutes to go before the half.
Cleveland without a real successor to World 3. And a few extra big men. Might see a Melvin Turpin and a Keith Lee mentioned there if it comes about.
Derek Harper somehow sneaks inside on the offensive board and tips in the Aguirre mess. And again, we're even.
The Maverick baskets continue to be either off the offense from Aguirre or a little junk shots that they're just aggressive enough and lucky enough to get and put in.
Around the perimeter to Byron Scott, who put through his second three-pointer of the quarter. So the Lakers with 3 three-pointers in the half. Dallas has yet to connect. And that's the difference right here. And Harper certainly is thinking about one, but gives it up to Aguirre. Shot clock is down to 8, and Mark turns it over, being bothered defensively by James Worthy.
Aren't you surprised Derek didn't take it?
Yeah, I really am. Derek has shot so well of late. He has made a three-pointer in each of the Mavericks' last 7 games, and over that period of time is connected on 15 of 31. You see the turnover problem continuing to plague the Mavericks, and here Magic gives it right back.
Only the 3rd Laker turnover. The Mavericks without a single steal in this game.
And that, of course, again, a category where you expect to see leadership from Derek Harper, who is 4th in the NBA in that category. Harper again thinks about the 3, moves in for a 2. Michael Cooper, 4 on 2, and again they look for Worthy to finish. Dick Motta will use his 22nd timeout with the Mavericks down by 5 with 19 seconds to go before the intermission. It is uncanny how the Lakers seem to always find James Worthy in the transition.
Wherever he is, he always seems to be the guy to finish it off. Earlier, before they drafted him, it was the Koopa Loop. A lot of times they go to off the fast break, and here it's Cooper who starts it. And as you'll see at the other end, Worthy who finishes it. James Worthy, who runs the court well enough that late last year, Pat Riley was speculating you might see some Worthy at big guard. They haven't gone to it much this year, but as well as he moves, he's the same size as Magic Johnson. They're both right at 6'9" and 225. And he's faster than most of the guards in the league. Maybe not quicker, but faster.
Well, you can really see as you watch them play how much time they spend practicing the fast break. This is the largest Laker lead of the game, only 5, and the Mavericks turn it over again. Here comes Magic. But Aguirre takes it right back.
There is the first steal.
And the Mavericks need to hurry. Brad Davis. Boy, had visions of the end of the first half in Dallas 10 days ago, and Brad Davis with a running three-pointer, but this one won't go. And the Mavericks hang in for the first 24. The Lakers will take a 5-point lead into the locker room. Okay, thank you, Dave Barnett. I think I've actually gotten my breath back after that long climb we have to make here in the Forum. As you see the official halftime stats, Dallas being outshot from the field, but they've gotten off 4 more attempts. But the big advantage for the Mavericks on the boards, where they are paced by Roy Tarpley and James Donaldson, each of whom have 6 rebounds in the ball game. Dallas's big bugaboo has been turnovers, but they have turned it over 11 times to only 2 for the Lakers. Mark Aguirre leads all scorers with 16 points on 8 of 16 shooting from the field. Also, Roy Tarpley has contributed 9 on 3 of 5 and 3 of 4 free throws, leading the Lakers. The captain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 5 of 8 and 2 free throws for his 12 points. Lakers not really getting much of an effort from anyone on the boards. A.C. Green, Kareem, and Byron Scott each have 3. Leading assist person for the Lakers and in the game is Michael Cooper, and Byron Scott is right behind him with 5. Cooper has 6. Magic limited only 4 assists in the first half. Mavericks are paced by Derek Harper with 3 assists in the first 24 minutes. So the Mavericks hanging tight at this point. And we're going to show you some of Mark Aguirre's activities during the first half as again tonight. He is the focal point for the Mavericks. And at the other end, Magic Johnson posting low against Derek Harper. Magic has 9 on a perfect 4 of 4 shooting first half. And there is the Magic man, who's been playing a lot of forward tonight. Mavericks will go back to their original starting lineup, so Sam Perkins is in there. You heard Dick Motta talking about using Tarpley more in this half as Aguirre inside. Crowder at the forearm thought he took steps. Officials didn't. Marks got 18.
That time in single coverage, only A.C. Green to beat.
And A.C. Green here misses, gets his own rebound, blocked by Donaldson. But again, it comes down to Green. And the Lakers will set it up.
Alan Dick had said that Tarpley would start the second half. He must have meant started as maybe the first guy in off the bench, because it's the same 5 that started the game.
Mavericks here just like to get the ball back sometime this quarter. Look at that move by Jabbar, unsuccessful. Boy, if he had made that one, we'd be looking at the videotape replays of that for about the next decade. Here's Blackman low as the Mavericks beat the Lakers down the floor. Rowe gets a second chance, and it's a 1-point game.
Back to something Dick said. He says this is going to be decided maybe in the first 6 minutes. And in the first minute and 10 seconds, it is all Mavericks.
Here's Magic with a set shot that has become so much a part of his game of late. And Magic joins Kareem and Byron Scott into double figures for the Lakers. Blackman on another drive. A.C. Green with the rejection to Worthy, and a fast break opportunity for the Lakers. Magic, and again, they let Mr. Worthy, Sir James, finish it off.
Do you ever remember Magic turning the ball over in that situation, throwing the wrong pass, traveling, doing anything wrong?
Well, that's the problem with the great ones. They make it look so easy that you tend sometimes not to give them credit. No, you're right. That's a very good point. You hardly ever think of Magic not making the right play in that situation. Here's A.C. Green making the right play as the Mavericks turn it over again. Magic shunning aside Donaldson. Lakers with a basket here could have their largest lead of the night. They have been at 5 a couple of times, including the halftime score. Jabbar fouled. And it's going to be on Derek Harper for coming in to give James Donaldson some help. Really, Dave, no one in foul trouble at this point in the ball game, as you see Dick Motta and Richie Adubato conferring on the Maverick bench. Unlike last night, personal fouls just not a factor at this point in the contest.
Nothing like last night. Where the Mavericks have slowed themselves is in their own execution. We mentioned several times in the first half turnovers. They ended the half with 11, but lost only 4 points. So it wasn't the fact that the Lakers were capitalizing. And we mentioned the lack of fast breaks for them. It was just fewer points off the opportunities Dallas did get on offense.
Aguirre very active, but loses the ball in traffic. And again, the Mavericks don't get a shot off. And this is the Lakers' largest lead at 6. It's been that tight of a ball game. Mavericks, I don't believe, have led by more than 2. Here's Harper pestering Magic. Donaldson got a hand on it, and Worthy knocks it out of bounds. Perkins has been the only play on either team that's really had any foul difficulties, and that's because he got his 2 very early in the first quarter, and that's only his 4th point. Kareem looks at the double team as they'll challenge A.C. Green. And Green will put it up.
Again, all you can ask defensively against Kareem, who hoped to get the call there, but Bill Oak says it did roll off the captain's foot. It's about as long as he'll ever hold it. Usually he knows exactly what he wants to do. Either go to the skyhook, the little drop step for the layup, or he'll find somebody open.
Mavericks will be pleased to know that Kareem, after a very slow start, is seeming to round into his offensive game. 20 or better 6 of the last 7 contests, as Kareem pulls down the rebound here. And Magic in trouble. And A.C. Green bails him out, and now Kareem. The Mavericks did a great job of pinning Magic Johnson, but couldn't get the steal. And the seed part for James Worthy, who after a very slow start, now up to 11.
His 5th basket, and the longest shot he's taken has been about 2 feet.
Perkins to answer from about 4 feet. The Mavericks showed no sign of fatigue at this point as they're hanging right in. Well, Magic turns it over here, but the Mavericks touch it last.
The Abdul-Jabbar pass out to James Worthy. That is why the Mavericks coaching staff respects the passing ability of Abdul-Jabbar. Great court vision, as you saw.
Timeout with
Impressions he read as, we can't do it. We can't shake these guys.
Blackman is fouled and will go to the free throw line with a chance to bring Dallas even, and the call is going to go against Magic. His second, the first on the Lakers this quarter.
Right around Scott. One that can go either way. Looked like Magic was pretty well set, and yet the Mavericks get the benefit. And Blackman with a chance to tie going back to Game 5. The way the Mavericks let L.A. back in that game was missed free throws.
Blackman, the 8th best free throw shooter in the NBA, does not miss here. Mavericks, despite obvious fatigue when you're playing back-to-back for the season, are 9 and 7 in the second game of back-to-backs. And of course, this is also their 4th in the last 5 days. We are tied with exactly 7 minutes to go in the third. The Lakers not able to crank up the fast break in this period. DeMar with the hook. Went in down.
Well, 738 consecutive double-figure games for Kareem. 9 full seasons, to put that in perspective.
Will anybody ever break that record? Derek Harper on a drive down the lane. And now the Mavericks are starting to find some openings and attack that Laker defense, which has been one of the real keys to Mavericks' success in this series. And again, Harper at the line to try to draw the Mavericks even, and Derek, the poorest free throw shooter amongst Maverick starters at 69%.
One of the real weird things in the NBA, you'll get matchups where one team inexplicably dominates the other. And that's what Portland has done to Dallas this year. The Mavericks all season have had a better record. Dallas has much better success against the Lakers, who are 7.5 games ahead of the Blazers in the Pacific Division, and the Blazers never have a chance. They're never even close when they play the Lakers.
Yeah, it really is odd talking to Dick Mott and Rich Adubato after last night's game. They really fear meeting Portland in the playoffs. They kind of get the feeling that maybe the Blazers have their number. And of course, the Lakers have just totally dominated Portland. They beat them 18 straight times in this building and 7 in a row up in Portland. Worthy. Boy, missed that one from near point-blank range, and now the Mavericks look for the lead. And Harper gives it to them. He couldn't do it from the line, so he does it from the field, and Derek up to 9.
And here's some oohs from the fans who will enjoy any version of Showtime generally here. They will acknowledge good play by anyone on the floor. That was a Laker-style fake as Harper set up his jumper.
A.C. Green, seemingly outside of his range, but obviously not. And he's got 10, the 10th most accurate shooter in the league. And that is the 12th lead shaven for the night, and make it 13 as Blackman. And Roe Blackman here is knocked to the floor. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar gets called for an offensive foul, his first. I was looking away, but it looked like Blackman was knocked rather solidly to the floor.
He's starting to collect some bumps and bruises. He might wish he had time to rest during the All-Star break.
Good point. Aguirre turned loose inside, but misses the layup. And here's Scott around Perkins. Byron gets it back. Lakers not shooting the ball well at all here in the third quarter. The Mavericks look for a three-point lead as Scott gambling for the steal. Aguirre up to 20.
A very lucky Dallas possession because it looked like Scott read breakaway all the way. Mavericks get it back.
Magic loses it. Harper attacks Jabbar. Ball is tipped in by Aguirre. on a real run, and Pat Riley's seen enough. He's going to call a 20-second timeout as the Mavericks enjoying their largest lead of the evening. It's a 5-point Maverick advantage.
And we're 7.5 minutes into the third period.
Well, Dick Motta's fears,
exactly what Dick Motta hoped to see, he has seen.
Have been alleviated, and that's about 3 times now this quarter, Dave, that Magic has just lost the handle on the ball. Don't see that very often from the Magic man, and that may bode very well for the Mavericks, who I believe are going to get Roy Tarpley into the game during this 20-second timeout. This is the Mavericks' largest lead of the game.
Interesting to see who comes out. Now it's going to be a full Laker timeout.
So we'll take a break here with 4:32 still to go in the third, and the Mavericks enjoying their largest lead of the night, a 5-point advantage over the best in the West.
With a 13-4 run, and for the period 21-11. Go back to early December, the last time Dallas played in this building. The margin's similar because Dallas at this point in the game ahead by about 5 points, but a big difference. They had an 18-point lead in the second period, and from that point on, momentum belonged to Los Angeles. We've seen that completely reversed tonight.
Momentum definitely in the favor of the Mavericks here, and Dallas does get Tarpley into the ball game for Sam Perkins. Lakers make no changes. Kareem looking to stop the Maverick run, or at least slow it down. Jabbar having a big night. He's up to 17. Boy, I tell you, old man River just keeps rolling along as Harper finds the opening in the defense, and that's starting to become a Maverick trademark this quarter.
Somebody talked to Derek Harper, or he had a talking to with himself, because he's a different player since halftime.
Magic tries to answer from the perimeter. Not successfully, and now you see Michael Cooper on for the Lakers. Cooper had just the long-range three-pointer in the first quarter, but did lead the Lakers in assists with 6. Blackman. And here comes Magic. Cooper guarded by Tarpley. Magic looks to post up on Harper. Derek went for the steal. Magic goes inside for his 13th point. Blackman tries to work against Worthy. Gets a screen from Tarpley. They'll go to Aguirre for the three-pointer. And Mark Aguirre with his 23rd three-pointer and 9 of his last 14 from that range.
Talk about momentum. That doesn't hurt. 25th point already for Aguirre.
Worthy. Donaldson loses it, but Aguirre picks it up. Quick outlet to Blackman, who looks for space. To Harper. Tough shot. Blackman on the offensive board is fouled, and the Mavericks really taking it to the Lakers as the third quarter winds down.
Allen, they just want it more at this point. If they continue this, the Mavericks have every chance of coming away with a win and winning the season series. Blackman with a wise pass here. He was about to get his pocket picked. Unbelievable shot attempt by Harper even to get that shot off.
It's a tough assignment for Orlando Blackman to try to exploit offensively because he's being covered by James Worthy. Worthy now in a bit of foul difficulty. We've got it as his 3rd foul, and they say that on the scoreboard. I believe that's right. Not all that much foul difficulty, but the Mavericks now starting to get to the line because that is 6 free throw attempts this quarter. Lakers have only attempted 2.
And some evidence of their intensity and their willingness to get a little more aggressive on offense.
Crowd reacts in the forum. 17,505 to the Mavericks' largest lead of the game, which stays at 8. Jabbar and Donaldson ahead to Aguirre. Boy, the Lakers executing very poorly, and the Mavericks executing very well. Blackman. And Magic finally runs it down in the corner.
Time for L.A. to just kind of regain their bearings. They thought things were well in hand at halftime, and now this.
Well, their shooting is just off miserably here. Worthy keeps it alive after his own miss. Cooper passes up the 3. Boy, for the best shooting team in the NBA. It's really a combination of the Mavericks doing things so well and the Lakers not being able to hit the proverbial side of the barn.
Also, they're the best shooting team in the NBA because they run so much. And so many other shots are layups and dunks, and they have been denied that all this period.
Here's Aguirre. They'll say he traveled. Looked like he may have palmed the ball. The ruling is traveling. Didn't see that as much the fact that he might have brought the ball over as Detlef Schrempf checks into the game for the Mavericks.
And he'll replace Blackman, and that is a couple of big shoes to fill. Blackman with 8 points in this period-long Dallas run. They are overcoming that with mainly intensity and the rebound. And they have 13 more rebounds than the Lakers.
Pat Riley on the Laker bench has got to be wondering, are we ever going to score again? The Lakers cannot put the ball in the hole. Mavericks are committing no fouls. So the Lakers are just not scoring.
Alan, if you're Dallas, you have to take full advantage of this run because you know it won't last. L.A. does not play this kind of offensive basketball for one entire half.
Well, I was thinking exactly the same thing. You want to see the Mavericks convert on every possession right here because you feel they're going to need it. Here's Harper. Air ball. A.C. Green plucks it down ahead to Magic. And again, the Mavericks deny the fast break and force Magic into the perimeter jump shot, but this time Irvin Johnson connects, and he's got 15. Harper sets up left side looking for Aguirre. Rambis is now on, and he covers Mark. Harper for three. Sharply, Green pulls it down. The Magic, and again the fast break is denied. Great pass though to Rambis. Harpley from behind is going to be called for the foul. Looked like he might have gotten the block clean, but Earl Strom says no, and that's the third personal from the rookie.
And if it was a foul, and we'll get a chance to see exactly how much contact there was, it was a good one. And they did get him. Plenty of Kurt Rambis contacted by Roy Tarpley there. Bill Wennington into the game. Excellent foul by Tarpley. You deny Rambis the automatic two and put him on the line where he is liable to do that.
So again, the Lakers cooperate after the Maverick foul. And L.A. from the line tonight is now only 9 of 15. Brad Davis is on. As Donaldson is out for Wennington, and now Tarpley sits down. Wennington in for Aguirre. Rambis makes it a 5-point game, and the Mavericks, with about a 1 second difference between the game and the shot clock, will probably spread it out. Harper takes it inside, but Worthy got a hand on the ball, knocks it off of Harper's leg. Must have been magic because Worthy's not in there right here, so must have been 32 and not 42, but a good heads-up defensive play. Magic hits the deck, and they'll say he traveled.
That is huge. That is the difference between a fairly comfortable lead if you're Dallas and Lakers being right there on your heels if they convert on that possession with 4 seconds to go.
And Earl Strom, who has thwarted the Mavericks so many times at Reunion Arena, makes a big call here against maybe the league MVP, Irvin Johnson. Mark on the alley-oop to Wennington, who touched it last, and now with 2 seconds to go, it still belongs to the Lakers. And Cooper from behind midcourt. Oh, had it online. And boy, that would have been a terrible way for the quarter to end for the Mavericks. But as it is, no harm. And we are through 3 from the Forum with the Mavericks down by 5 at the intermission. Now entering the final 12, up by 5 points over Pat Riley and the Lakers. Dave Barnett back at the Forum, where our producer Bob Steinfeld, director Dave Burchett have been incapable of finding us a Hollywood celebrity so far tonight, so we'll take the next best thing, and maybe the best thing altogether, the Laker girls. Show you a little bit of their activity as you check backcourt and frontline scoring so far in the ball game. And David, we enter the final 12 with the Mavericks up. There's no doubt the bench is going to have to provide some real support for the Mavericks if they're going to hold on.
There are a lot of important bench minutes being spent down there. The only starter on the floor for Dick Motta is Sam Perkins, who guards Michael Cooper there. Lakers shot 30% in the third period. They will not do that this quarter.
You would not think so. Here's Mike Smrek and Byron Scott from about 18. Misses. Rambis misses on the follow. But the Lakers will retain possession, but the cold shooting for L.A. continues. Mavericks shot 53% that quarter. Boy, and again, good defense by the Mavericks. They're just not allowing anything easy for L.A. Magic misses the tough shot here, and Tarpley scrapes down the rebound.
L.A., on the other hand, also going with only a couple of starters, and that's the backcourt of Scott and Johnson. But Magic, again, is a forward. He's matched with Sam Perkins here.
Brad Davis works the right side. They go low to Shrimp, who takes it in hard. Now call the foul on Kurt Rambis. And you know, Dave, in the half-court game, the Mavericks just executing much superior to the Lakers. Is Pat Riley not happy in front of the L.A. bench?
That's not that surprising. The Mavericks are much better known for their half-court execution than the Lakers are. And the way Dallas has stayed close to the Lakers for the last couple of years is control their running. You know Kareem's going to get his points, Magic his. If you can keep people like Worthy and Scott from filling the lanes, getting the easy baskets, then if you break it down to just a half-court versus half-court game, regardless of where it's played, the Mavericks should have the advantage.
Dick Motta seemingly happy in front of the Maverick bench. He probably knows that Dallas is 26-5 in games in which they carry the advantage into the fourth quarter. That was Shrimp's fifth point. 5 players in tonight's game will be in Seattle over the weekend.
3 of these guys in the three-point competition. Not only Detlef, but both Scott and Cooper from the Lakers. Cooper is the only man ever to compete in both the slam dunk and the three-point shot. He was a dunker in 1984.
I take it back, 7 will be involved in All-Star Weekend, 5 in the actual game itself. Here's a foul as Magic goes into the paint. And Detlef Shrimp gets called for his first foul and the first on the team this quarter. I'm going to say it till I get it right. 8 players in this game are participating in some aspect of All-Star Weekend. And Magic, boy, the Lakers just unraveling. Magic is now only 1 of 3 from the line. He has led this team in scoring in 10 of the last 15 games and now has 16, which is 1 behind Kareem for Lakers scoring honors this evening.
Boy, this game is right there for the taking. This is the worst the Lakers have played at home, maybe ever, against Dallas.
And Perkins continues to build the advantage, now up to 8. Rambis low. Scores and it's foul. Magic Johnson doing a great job of giving him the pass on the pick and roll. And Whittington gets called for the foul.
When we say the Lakers have played poorly, really maybe clarify that and just say shot poorly, because they've gotten themselves in position for the easy shots. A lot of those haven't gone. And another problem for them this half, the Mavericks have gone to the line and been much more successful. The Rambis converting this one to bring them right back within 5.
Lakers have attempted 3 more free throws, but have 1 less point from the line than do the Mavericks. Here's Tarpley. Oh, Roy Tarpley into double figures with that short jumper. And the Mavericks continue to be equal to the test. Worthy is back on. All sorts of trouble for James. Shot clock is down to 8. Myron Scott. Well, you allow yourself to think, Dave, of the psychological advantages for the Mavericks if they can win tonight. Take the season series and what that might possibly mean when we get to the postseason. Rambis fouls Tarpley out front.
Well, after the game Saturday, the national televised game actually a week from Saturday, everybody on both sides was saying this means nothing once you get to the playoffs. It's all forgotten. I have a hard time believing that if the Mavericks can pull this one out. It has to mean something to know you can win in the fourth.
Dick Mott has been called for a technical foul. I don't know what ensued there, but the Mavericks got the foul call because Kurt Rambis got called for going over the back of Roy Tarpley, and before the Mavericks could inbound it, Dick Motta gets tagged with a technical, and that's going to cost Dallas.
Well, figure is he must not have meant to get it. Sometimes he'll say something that he thinks is safe, and if he's had a running tirade all night, as Scott cooperates.
Well, it doesn't cost the Mavericks the point. We saw Earl Straw, but it was actually Billy Oates who made that call right in front of the Dallas bench while trying to get the ball to Brad Davis for the inbound pass.
Yeah, just to speculate, if he had had a running tirade going, anything added on top of that maybe is enough in the eyes of an official, but Dick really shouldn't have all that much to complain about.
They can't complain about that corner jumper by Brad Davis as the Maverick advantage back up to 7. Dick Motta pacing in front of the Maverick bench here. Getting back to the other point, the Lakers have got to be talking to themselves because they just have not been able to put Dallas away once this year. Here's Scott from the corner. Mavericks have won their 2 victories by double figures. Lakers have won by 4 and 8 and find themselves down by 5 here as we go under 9 minutes. Brad Davis. Scott is going to be called for the foul. They're going to rule Brad Davis was attempting to get off a shot. And so the Mavericks will go to the line.
Not the night that Brad had last time when he had a season high of 21 points, but not bad. He hasn't been in quite that much. Derek Harper has his game going. And what Brad has done is keep the offense at a fairly efficient level. They haven't turned it over when he's been in there. Difference is the circus shots that he hit in that other game haven't been there. He came close at the end of the first half. And it's always unusual to see him miss a free throw. He's 6th in the NBA.
Poor free throw shooting appears to be contagious. Lakers are 2 of 4. Mavericks are now 3 of 4 from the line this quarter, but highly unlikely when Brad Davis misses one. Alley-oop to Cooper. He can't finish.
There's the Cooper loop. A lot of practice. Doesn't get quite as many of those.
Here's Stripp around his man. Reverses the hand, but can't get it to go. Whittington. Brad Davis. Stripp as we go under 10 seconds on the shot clock. Whittington around track and jams it. What a move by Bill Whittington.
Mercy. It is still rattling down there.
And the Maverick bench up with a few high fives on that basket by Bill Whittington.
Shot clock was running down. He said, I've seen enough of this. I'm taking matters into my own hands.
Byron Scott penetrates, makes contact. Brad Davis out front and Bill Whittington low. Now about a drive by Whittington.
About 5 on the shot clock when he starts the drive. And his Canadian Olympic teammate Mike Spreck victimized. Another look. Spreck had his back turned, and that was his first mistake, and then just sheer power to get it up past James Worthy.
Whittington called for the foul here, the 3rd against the Mavericks. We're even in team fouls. Scott, an 87% foul shooter, just a moment ago missed in his only trip to the line. Brings the Lakers back to within 7. Kareem is back in the ball game, and Whittington sits down, but what a contribution he just made. Boy, I cannot remember, though, Dave, seeing the Lakers shoot the ball this poorly for this long a period of time. Mavericks countered the move by Jabbar by getting James Donaldson back on the floor.
Go back to the first quarter. The Mavericks, after the first 2 or 3 possessions, started to get their defensive sea legs. They got a good period of execution against Abdul-Jabbar, and it really seemed to spread. And now everybody seems to be out of his rhythm offensively for the Lakers.
Boy, look at Tarpley low. A circus move. Ultimate respect. He gets the foul on Jabbar. Didn't get the shot to drop, but we'll go to the free throw line, and the Mavericks getting all the breaks. It looked like Brad Davis was going to turn it over out front.
Quickly, can you think of any 7-footers who look that graceful on 360 moves?
And when you realize, Dave, how early in Roy Tarpley's development we really are, because he spent so much the early part of this season on the bench, to see him playing this well and with this much confidence, the future appears bright indeed. 12 points now and 9 rebounds for Tarpley.
Well, something else for the Lakers to think about if there is a meeting in the playoffs. You're going to see a much more developed Tarpley, shrunk through 2 full years.
Big three-point shot by Cooper, his second. That brings LA within 5, but Brad Davis in a hurry to the other end. And Perkins. Tarpley and Worthy. Shrimp will keep it in the Mavericks' possession. To Tarpley, who travels. As that time, Jabbar, with a heady defensive move, The block Hartley's pass along the baseline, and Roy turns it over.
That was an awful big Dallas possession.
Here come the Lakers, but wait a minute. They're going to roll off the basket and call an offensive foul on Kurt Rambis. What a huge call. Offensive foul against Rambis. No basket. Pat Riley incensed.
See if we can see it. Here's Rambis thundering down the lane. And they say he throws the elbow at Donaldson. No question, Donaldson was moving, but Rambis with the elbow is detected.
Billy Oakes makes the call. Timeout with 6:55 to go. Mavericks lead the disgruntled Lakers by 4.
Mavericks games this season can be heard on WBAP radio. Also, you can catch the Norm Sanju show Thursday nights at 6 and the Rolando Blackman show Tuesday nights at 6:15.
Well, Danzig Berry distracted the crowd for part of that timeout, but they're still booing the offensive foul call by Billy Oakes that negated the basket by Kurt Rambis that would have made it a 2-point game. Magic Johnson remains on the bench for the Lakers, and Brad Davis remains in for the Mavericks. Missing, but Donaldson with the offensive board, and here's a foul that is also going to go against Kurt Rambis. And Pat Riley turns and walks away.
It's just a hard idea to get used to, I guess. If you're a fan of Showtime and you're used to seeing the Lakers beat the Mavericks every time they come in. The Rambis foul previously could have gone either way. He didn't get it. And this time, another foul going against the Lakers. Donaldson, though, gives some cause to cheer, but there has to be a certain frustration level in this sellout crowd, too, because they are not seeing what they came to see, which was the Lakers, they hope, putting the Mavericks right back in their rightful place.
Boy, Donaldson with 2 big misses there from the line, and James, an 83% free throw shooter, who has now missed his last 4 in a row from the line, going back to last night. Illegal defense call against the Mavericks. This is going to be the technical foul because it's the second time the Mavericks have been warned. We were talking about Showtime a minute ago as Dick Motta looks on a little apprehensive right here. That basket by Rambis, Dave, would have been the first Showtime-type basket by the Lakers in some while.
You just can't overemphasize how big it was that they didn't get those 2. Well, they haven't hit either of the technical free throws. Mavericks had a good shot at stretching the lead back to 6 after Cooper gave him the momentum with the 3-point basket. And all the wind temporarily out of the Lakers' sails, but with the technical, another chance to cut it to 2.
God. Rims out. Rambis. And now he will go to the foul line. And that's going to bring an expected roar from the Laker crowd. Neither team doing the job from the line. Dallas is 4 of 8 this quarter. Lakers are 4 of 7.
And Detlef Schrempf, the Maverick whistle this time, only his 2nd foul. A big positive compared to last night, the fact that Dallas does not have anybody in foul trouble to worry about.
Boy, it continues. Now both teams are 4 of 8 this quarter for the Stripes. This is not what you expect in the NBA as the Mavericks get Derek Harper and Orlando Blackman back in for Davis and Schrempf. Lakers are now only 14 of 24. Mavericks 15 of 22 for the game. And Rambis misses them both.
And a tip of the hat to Schrempf and Davis.
Yes.
Because the Mavericks did not surrender the lead. They really haven't surrendered that much momentum to speak of. And probably look for Harper and Blackman rested to play the rest of the ballgame.
And we still haven't seen Magic Johnson in this quarter. Here's Perkins. A step inside the 3-point line, and Sam Perkins with 10, and the Maverick lead is at 6. And now Pat Riley motions to Magic Johnson to go to the scorer's table.
They have survived the first big run, as you could expect.
Nice pass to get Rambis open low. And again, it's a 4-point Maverick advantage.
Emphasis on first run, because so much time left, 5 minutes and 18 seconds.
Boy, game beginning to feel like a playoff game, and here's an offensive foul against Mark McGuire. Away from the ball. Aguirre gets called for his second, and that coincides with Magic Johnson's return. 5:08 to go. Mavericks lead at 92-88.
Aguirre called for basically the same thing Rambis was earlier. Elbow right in the view of the official on the baseline.
And again, it was Billy Oakes and not Earl Strom that makes the tough call. Here's Kareem. 2-point game. Harper builds it back to 4 and flattens the crowd.
So we've seen a couple of coolly thrown in baskets. Mavericks absolutely had to have them by Harper and Perkins.
Blackman gets a hand on the pass headed for Cooper from Jabbar. Boy, this has been a great series this year, and Dallas pound boards. Jabbar with 3 Mavericks around him, misses, and Perkins. And Dallas looks to build the lead back up to 6. Aguirre works against Kareem. Perkins misses the tip. Oh, they'll say Dallas touched it last. Boy, look from here like Rambis is the final player. The ball passed through the fingers of. Cooper misses. Worthy. And finally, they get the ball in the hands of Magic.
You know what? It's too bad this isn't a playoff game.
It's a great regular season contest. Kareem misses. And the Mavericks get the ball back. And the Lakers' dismal shooting continues. One of the interesting aspects, Dave, is we're under 4 minutes to go, and neither team has got to 100 yet. We're the 2 highest scoring teams in the league.
Well, completely in the Mavericks' favor as they get another half-court offense type basket.
And Derek Harper with 11 of his 15 since halftime. And 2 huge jump shots here.
Yeah, this used to be a third-quarter total by the Lakers.
And Magic throws the ball away, misfiring on the pass attempt to Rambis. Pat Riley, you can see the way he feels about it. Here's Aguirre to Donaldson. As the Mavericks just beat the Lakers up the floor.
Very un-Laker-like play here. Just out-and-out laziness. Kareem and a couple other guys just did not turn their backs in time to see what Mark Aguirre was up to.
And you can see the response on the Mavericks bench. There is jubilation as the Mavericks beat the Lakers up the floor and set up Donaldson for the point-blank jam. It's Mavericks by 8 with 3:17 to go. Up by 8 with 3:17 to go.
The third quarter, Allen, almost always belongs to the Lakers in this building. That's when the Mavericks turned it around from down 5 at the half. If they win, it's hard to overemphasize what a big mental boost this has to be. If L.A. comes back, again, you can't overemphasize how devastating that can be for the Mavericks, because you have them on a night where they've missed 8 free throws. They haven't been anywhere near their usual offensive efficiency, and they've been slaughtered on the boards. It's not even close, 46-31.
I missed the foul against Magic Johnson on the James Donaldson slam, and Donaldson finishes off the 3-point play, so now it's a 9-point game, the largest lead of the night for the Mavericks. Here's Worthy. Muscles in low. Got the feeling that was a play designed in the huddle as the Lakers look nowhere except to number 42. Donaldson, Kareem reaches in, and Magic comes away with the steal.
Well, if you're the Lakers, exactly what you wanted to see. You get the points off your own offense.
Michael Cooper's 3 is short.
They had the Maverick mistake to capitalize on, but they settled for the 3-point basket very early in the 24-second cycle.
Well, Cooper's hit on 2 of those. And now Dallas is going to call a timeout. With 2:23 to go, the Maverick advantage is 7. And a hush has fallen over the Forum crowd. 2:23 to go, and the Lakers down by 7. And Dave, some people here in the Forum have already conceded.
Isn't that something? People are leaving this building, and
there's a couple of them walking down in front of our camera.
Again, it goes with the territory. People will leave no hitters at Dodger Stadium here in the 7th inning because of the traffic situation.
Are you again referring to that laid-back Southern California lifestyle?
I guess so, yeah. Because there they are. This started to be a sellout crowd, 17,505. The Laker front office said this was the toughest ticket they have had all year long.
And this crowd is quiet now as the Mavericks with the ball, and the basket here really puts L.A. on the rope. Blackman, side cleared out to work against Scott. Air ball, and Michael Cooper runs it down in the corner.
It's a major league one-on-one defense by Byron Scott. The Lakers still with plenty of time. They have more than 2 minutes, as you can see, down by 7.
But they need to start putting some points on the board. Magic underneath. Now they swing it to Scott for 3, and Byron Scott hits his third three-pointer of the game, and that cuts the late Maverick advantage to 4.
And it was take your pick. Cooper had a 3. He decided Scott's was a better angle.
Blackman inside is fouled and will go to the line. That's the third on Jabbar. Mavericks into the penalty.
They have some must free throws to be shot. This is the guy you want on the line if Brad Davis isn't into the game. 89% this year for Blackman.
And 4 of 4 tonight. That's Rowe's first point here in the final period, his 15th on the night. He has averaged 29.5 against the Lakers this year. Builds it back up to 6.
Mavericks forced into a switch there because Harper had lost his footing. Blackman alertly picked up Magic Johnson, and he tried to drive in, and luckily didn't turn it over. Still Laker ball.
And you can see the way the Mavericks are talking to each other. They believe they're going to win this ball game, despite the hoop there by Magic Johnson.
And again, Harper. That time either screened out or seemed to slip again. Hard to tell, but whatever the case was, Magic popped wide open, made it a 4-point game.
Wire. Donaldson. Double team. In trouble.
You can see behind him, he had Blackman all alone.
Throws the ball away to Worthy, and Mark Aguirre making a good foul there because Worthy looked like he was going to leave Mark and take it to the hole, and now he'll have to earn the points from the stripe. Both teams to the penalty.
Well, it's been a constant theme all night long, but this is the way the Lakers won the pivotal 5th game of the playoff series last year. Mavericks with chances late, forced into mistakes, and it was indeed an excellent foul by Mark Aguirre.
1 of 4 is James Worthy from the line tonight. But that one swishes through. And with 1:10 to go, Worthy to bring the Lakers within 2. And all of a sudden, it is awfully loud again in the forum.
Open man was Sam Perkins.
Harper forces the shot, but gets his own rebound with 52 seconds to go. Boy, Mavericks get a break there. Harper misses the layup. Loose ball foul. No, they're going to say Mavericks get the ball back. It was knocked out of bounds by the Lakers.
Boy, I tell you what, Earl Strom is living up to his reputation, which is he will make the ultimate tough call against the home team. That really looked like it had to have been off of Mark Aguirre.
Well, he gave the sign like he was going to call a loose ball foul. As we look at the whole progression here, Harper missing a layup, which really hurt. There you see Aguirre and Worthy really kind of inconclusive from that angle. Let's go low.
Yeah, off Aguirre.
Yeah.
Right, squirted right through his hands.
So a huge break for the Mavericks. You see Earl giving the loose side, and then he turns and points in the direction of the goal the Mavericks are shooting at and says Dallas's ball. 42 seconds to go. Mavericks will have a new 24 seconds to work and a 2-point lead.
I don't think you'd disagree. The Mavericks have to get at least one more basket in this game.
You would think so, because the Lakers have really tightened the screws defensively. Now, Harper did snake through for the layup, which he missed a moment ago, but the prior possession, he was in jail and just threw the ball towards the backboard. The Mavericks very lucky he was able to get his own rebound.
Nothing to be surprised about either, even though it was 99-92 Dallas just a couple of minutes ago at 2 minutes and 23 seconds. That's when folks started to leave.
Well, you know, there's an old adage, getting back to Earl Strong for a moment, that you're not a bad official to have if you're on the road. Of course, the Mavericks have certainly had their problems with him at Reunion Arena, which backs up that expression. And tonight, that is a huge call, and obviously from the replay angles we had, a major break for the Mavericks to have the ball in this situation. And with the new 24 seconds and with 17,505 roaring, would have been awful easy to turn and point the other way with that hand.
Well, this is one the Mavericks simply have to have. They have had control of this entire second half. And a 7-point lead with a couple of minutes to play. They've lost some games previously like this, or else they'd have a very comfortable lead in the Midwest Division. So games like this have been the only continuing problem for Dallas all year long.
Mavericks, no doubt, want to burn some time. McGuire drives on Worthy. Misses the shot, but Blackman with the rebound. Ball on the floor. Blackman goes up. What's the call? Lakers ball.
3-second violation.
Blackman lost control of the ball and gets called for the 3-second violation. 1 second difference between the game and the shot clock. Lakers trying to tie. Blackman gets a hand on the ball. Shot clock shows 11. Game shot. Game clock shows 12, and the Lakers will call a timeout. Oh, my.
Well, I'll tell you what, give Blackman credit for even getting the rebound, because Dwyer took the shot at a bad angle. There was no one underneath to rebound when he released it. Now, he's shooting really from behind that corner of the backboard from nowhere. Blackman, look at all the yellow jerseys around him. And the seconds are ticking off. They can't quite reach in and tie him up. Kareem very close to fouling him twice. And in fact, Blackman probably enraged that he didn't get a foul call.
Blackman losing possession of the ball a couple of times.
There's a foul on Kareem. I don't know what you have to do to commit a foul.
And they eventually going to call 3 seconds on Rolando Blackman in the paint. Boy, that could have been a foul call against the Lakers. It ends up being a 3-second call against the Mavericks. But more importantly, the Lakers with the ball with that much time remaining. But they've only got 11 on the 24-second clock.
Their timeout situation, by the way, they have only one full timeout.
Well, you can tell from the crowd, this is not being approached as just another ho-hum regular season game at the Forum.
If there is a rebound to be had, the odds are with Dallas. 49-32 is the Dallas rebounding advantage. One big rebound might be all they need to finally pull this out. They did not get the big shot, so now their options limited to try and pull this one out in regulation, and Mata will use the 20-second timeout. Well, Blackman called for it, and it's being denied for some reason.
I don't think, it doesn't look like whoever was trying to call the 20 had a 20. Here's Magic. Misses Donaldson with the board. 6 seconds to go, and Donaldson is fouled. They wanted Magic to take the shot. He got a pretty good shot inside, but it wouldn't go.
Well, if you need one rebound to win a game, and you're the Mavericks, you're probably going to get it from this man.
He is still the best rebounder in the Western Conference.
They have everything sealed off. You couldn't have asked for any better blocking out. Perkins had done his job. Donaldson his job. You just hope Magic misses and gives you the chance to get it. Now Donaldson needing to, and he's been cold at the line tonight.
Oh, off the front of the rim. That opens it up to a 3-point Maverick advantage. Four-point game. 2 huge free throws by James Donaldson. Lakers will use their final timeout. And now they've got a major problem. Mavericks up by 4 with 6 seconds to go.
James just trying to suppress a little grin. Because that ought to do it. That really should with 6 seconds to play.
We'll take a break right here and be back for the final 6 seconds with the Lakers trying to figure out a 4-point play. Lakers' strategy here obviously complicated because they have to score twice. Mavericks' defensive strategy, Dave, is frankly fairly simple.
Yeah, you would think the Lakers have to get the ball inbounds first of all, because as you can see, they are out of full end 20-second timeout. So once the ball is inbounded, assuming it is, if you're the Mavericks, delay the shot as much as you can without fouling, which would give the Lakers a chance to score with no time running off. Whatever you do, don't foul on a 3-point shot.
Yes, yes, yes. Magic to Cooper to Scott for 3. Tripp gets the rebound. That'll do it. Mavericks win the series over the Lakers by defeating L.A. at the Forum, and that is now 3 straight for the Mavericks over the Lakers this season. You see Dick Motta's reaction to the Dallas victory, which is only their 5th ever in this building, and by far the most meaningful victory the Mavericks have ever gotten in the Forum. Dallas's record goes to 29-16. Their road mark to 12-12. And they take 3 of 5 from the team with the best record in the NBA.
I tell you what, this is one of those that sends a few shockwaves around the NBA. The only other team to win in the Lakers' first 20 home games was Atlanta. The kind of season they're having has been well documented. The Mavericks come in here, and a season-long trend, Alan. They've lost so many games you figured they would have a good chance to win. They were in the game late last night at Portland, then blown away in the 4th quarter. You think, mercy, how can they do this one? Because they're going to be even more tired tonight. And as they have been able to do, they find a way to win the least expected way. Tonight, it was keeping the Lakers under 100 points. This is the #1 offensive team in basketball. They averaged 19 more than that. At home, they averaged 24 more points than the Mavericks allowed them tonight. Credit to the bench, credit to the overall board effort, the fact that the Mavericks weathered some scary early minutes and played some smart basketball. I mean, for once, they were able to keep the lead that they built up when it looked like in a couple of Laker possessions late, the Lakers would find another way to win. The miracle didn't happen for them.
And no excuses. The Mavericks, the tired team, their 4th game in 5 days. The Lakers have been sitting here since Friday night. A jubilant Dick Motta and his assistant Richie Adubato. The Mavericks take 3 of 5 from the Lakers, the last 3 in a row. This one the sweetest by a final score of 103-99.